It is Thursday. RawMikeRichards.com. Hopefully broadcasting from 243 or 240. You know what? I'm so fucking pissed off right now. I can't fucking believe it. If one thing would work today, that'd be fucking unbelievable. I'd really be happy about that. From the DKI studios in downtown Toronto. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I'm not embarrassed about it. It was a shit drive-in, it was shit parking, and nothing's worked since I've gotten to the goddamn building. So there's your happy Thursday. And you'll be pleased to know, on that note, that our good friend David Bastel got one of those scam, we're going to throw you in jail because you're being charged with tax fraud. So I'm in the mood for this. Trust me. Whoever's getting this call, you're going to get therapy after this one. I am going to mess you up so badly, and I'm going to keep you on as long as I can. And then, to cap it all off, excellent football picks for the first weekend in the NFL,
right.
Full slate of NCAA, you name it, and we're going to win a lot of money. So this will be the day of retribution. Yeah. Also, if you want to hear an apology, I guess a couple of days ago, Nick Saban gave one.
Yeah.
Well,
a really nice one, too.
We'll let you judge on the level of sincerity.
-3 out of 10.
And just, was that even really an apology? I mean, it was the non-apology apology. I guess the same guy who wrote Tiger Woods' apology must have wrote this one. Oh, yeah. We're firing all cylinders today, and I will be drinking heavy as soon as this show's over. Trust me, you can count on that. It is appalling to think that as transparent as the Canada revenue, that's what they want to call themselves now. No more Revenue Canada. They've changed. Oh, I know they've changed. That the common scam of, you're going to jail or we're going to arrest you or the RCMP, all these things that Canada Revenue, just they don't do it. They don't contact you by phone. And certainly if there was going to be some sort of court action, this would be over a long period of time between yourselves, sometimes your accountant. I'm sure going back and forth, there'd be lawyers involved. They've decided somehow in whatever country of origin that this brilliant scam came up, that it would basically prey upon, and you know what I'm talking about. It's probably seniors who hear something like that. There are probably new Canadians who aren't sure of the rules, right, Dave?
Yep, very good. Yep, absolutely.
And you think of those that are pulling off the scam, how can they not have any sort of feeling for families who have come from different places in the world, some of them refugees, and there they are, and they've decided that these are the people that they prey upon. This is how low. These are the scumbaggiest of the scumbags. I could care less what happens to these people. I could care less about the kind of, as I say, retribution, although it's so hard. I mean, I think, Dave, you even talked to the police about this.
Yeah.
And they say it's almost impossible to get.
It's funny. I talk to friends that sometimes receive these calls once a month. I'm lucky to only receive this once or twice a year. So about 5 years ago when I first got one of these calls, I thought, you know what? I just want to clarify something with the police, and I want to report the number, because a lot of times they say report the number, phone in. So I phone in, talk to a cop in the cop shop. I dictate the number, and he quotes back the last 4 digits of the number before I actually tell him.
Right, so he's familiar with the number.
He's very familiar, and he says, you know what, it's funny, this is a very common number at this time. There are thousands upon thousands of numbers because these things change. And he says, first thing you do is hang up, never give your number, never admit to anything, and tell them that you're going to be phoning the police as well. And we went on more in the conversation. It's exactly what you said. They prey on seniors that aren't sure. It's scare tactics. It's immigrants that aren't sure with the Canadian policy. Why am I receiving this call? I don't want to mess up here. I don't want to go back to wherever I'm from. And this guy's explaining everything to me. And he says, for them to be successful, they just need one hit. Yeah. One hit. One person that sits there and is actually spooked by this and starts dishing banking information, credit card information, all the things you do not ever, ever, ever want to do. He says it only takes one, and he says, and they phone thousands upon thousands. Voicemails like the one we're about to listen to happen every single day, probably happening right now to somebody somewhere in this country, somewhere in North America.
Yeah. and somebody you know. That could be your parents, or that could be your grandparents. It's truly the lowest of the low. And I noticed what they've tried to do. Instead of phoning with the heavy accent, they now have gone to like a voice rec kind of voice.
Yes.
So maybe for a second you're like, well, that sounds kind of official. So they've stepped it up. So here is from these douchebags. Here's the call that David received yesterday from apparently Canada Revenue.
Hello. This call is from the Tax Department of Canada Revenue Agency. The reason behind this call is that there is a case, a lawsuit, that is getting filed under your name. The moment you receive this message, I need you to get back to me on my department division number. That is 519-955-1512. I repeat, 519-955-1512. Now, if I don't hear a call from you, we will have to issue an arrest warrant under your name and get you arrested. So get back to me as soon as possible. Thank you.
Listen to that. And come and get you. Don't you coming to get me? No, we might be coming to get you. So let's see if this works. So I've decided that we'll use a voice. Really? What voice do we use to call this idiot? And I thought, how about John Travolta? Travolta would be a good one to talk to.
He'd be a great one to talk to.
Let's see how far we get, because at some point, too, the other picture I told you to get, Rusty, that will be his accountant who's going to come on to try to straighten things out. And you'll find out who this is.
There's going to be a couple people phoning these guys.
Now, let's pray it's not legit. and poor David will no longer be seen on Raw Mike Richards. Let's see what happens here. Supposedly it is calling. Of course, maybe it's having problems finding the phantom faux Canada Revenue Office. For some reason, that number does not appear to be... Yeah, it's typical of this day, though. This does not surprise me at all.
No, that's true.
In a day where every single thing has gone wrong, thus the explosive opening to Raw Mike Richards, which you have
We don't have to go one, right?
Usually we don't, but I'll try that.
No, I just thought maybe it was.
Well, it's worth
So
a
remember,
try.
folks, if you do receive this, never, ever, ever say your real name. Never, ever give your information. Nothing. Banking, credit card, address, postal code, what your dog's name is. Nothing.
Okay, we're going to try it again. Oh. You know, this is going to be one of those days. Phil Gray coming up, by the way, too. You're going to get it.
Maybe we should do this to Phil Gray.
The number was busy.
Oh. So there's somebody else trying to phone this number.
I'm going to try this one more time, folks. You can put it on something else rather than me, Russell. That I'm sure this is stimulating for the folks.
Thursday Night Football, by the way. The Falcons now 1.5 dogs. This opened up at about 2.5. There was some speculation that it would jump to 3, but it hasn't. It's jumped the other way. In other words, people are jumping on the Falcons. I told you to bet Falcons on Tuesday. Go do it. They're the better bird. Battle of the Birds. Mike, back to you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, this number is not working.
That's
You know, that kind of hurts the scam too when you think about it.
Does it ever?
What number did you give him? Well, I told you don't take that number. You take the other number. We talked about this last night, and you won't do it. You won't do it. Let's try it again. Yeah, let's go. Trust me, that's what we're going to get on the other side. You don't believe me?
No. The best part about it is walking in today.
Oh, no, it's not even.
And
There we
how
go.
there was nothing on the computer.
This has been just
great.
In a year and a half, easily one of the. Okay, we'll give it one more shot here.
Okay, let's do this.
The magical mystery number. Come on.
And that pops up too, eh?
Give me a break today.
Does that always pop up?
Yep.
Oh, Google Hangouts. This is very disappointing.
Yeah, but I got a feeling it has more to
think
do
it's more than
with the
Not really Google Hangout.
the quote unquote business that we're trying to phone. It's probably in a tent somewhere. Say that you're RNCNP. No, that's RCMP. That's what I said. You didn't say that. All right, okay. Yeah. Whatever that is. Some people trying to get a hold of me. Yeah, okay. Well, we will move from that, and we will go right to now, this will be the thing if somehow Phil Gray's does not work. And Phil Gray, of course, the senior lines, what do you call him?
Senior lines manager at Sports Interaction.
This is just, I need to be with those homeless people out there. How come he gets all the good booze? Okay, here we go. Let's try this as Phil Gray will finally talk first time this year with the NFL lines. And, of course, Inside the Lines is going to be across the Rogers Sportsnet radio network this weekend.
Yep.
First weekend
Sunday
of
at 10 a.m.
the NFL. See, this is a real number, so therefore, Phil, who's almost a real guy.
Good morning, Mike Richards.
Oh, listen to that, Phil. You see, now your voice is calming me today in a day that I haven't been very calm, to be honest.
And I'm working. Am I working?
Well,
you're working,
you
all
are
right.
working, my friend, and I got to tell you, this is going to be a very interesting first week in the NFL. And as we've been telling people, we'll send it out again today, that it couldn't be easier in signing with Sports Interaction. You just go to the drop-down menu when you register for the first time, look for Raw Mike Richards, and you will match up to $200 of that first deposit. So you put down $200, you're going to end up getting $400. It can't be easier.
That's right, and we doubled it for new clients today, so that's $200 up from our regular $100. And you can also jump on our weekly pick'em. If you go into my promo, you can get down there, and every week we're going to have just a straight weekly pick'em and some great prizes, 50 prizes each week. There's going to be a grand at the end of the season, and today for our opening week, the winner this week's going to get $750. So you can go down to 50th place and still get $10. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of like an office pool, and people really enjoy it.
Well, there's a lot of things that they can do on the site, as we all know. But really, when you start talking about the first week of the NFL, and I would think it probably doesn't matter necessarily which book you were to talk to, but if it's North American based, this has to be the king of all betting genres, is it not?
Well, for sure, yeah. It's the number one revenue generator for everybody, and we're really excited this weekend. College football this year has greatly expanded from last year, where we had about 60, 70 games on any given Saturday. Now we're going to have about 175. We're carrying all the FCS games, so there's going to be tons to bet. We're going to have halves on everything, props on mostly everything. So Saturdays are going to be crazy around here. So don't call me on Saturday, Mike.
Okay, well, trust me, that's never going to happen. If we're looking, and it's funny that you mentioned, Phil, FCS schools, because for the first time in a while, I think people are starting to understand that some of these teams are pretty good. And for instance, last week before it actually kicks off, an FCS school called North Carolina A&T, they're really good. And they went in and they caused all kinds of problems in the first couple of weeks. They beat Jacksonville State, but they're a very, very good team. There's a lot of Nicholls State goes in, beats Kansas, although my mom and her friends could probably beat Kansas. But there are a lot of FCS schools that people are becoming a little more aware of, and they're causing some problems, so it's great that you have those on there. But I guess if we're taking a look at some of those college picks, there's some big games obviously this week, but I think there's some nice numbers out there if you get in, and I always think you might want to get in a little early, because the one thing about college, and I guess you can speak to this, Phil, if you don't get in on that number that you like early, in college football, by the time kickoffs comes in that last hour, it can really inflate, like bigger than almost any sport I can think of.
Yeah, for sure. And there's usually upwards of maybe a dozen games if you want to get it really early on. We can look at the late game on Saturday night, Michigan State and Arizona State. That opened at 4. That's up to 6.5 right now. Minus 250 on the money line. That would probably actually, looking at the liability right now, it's going to be one of our bigger ones for the Saturday night and that's probably going to get to a touchdown. USC and Stanford. Stanford opened at 4. It's at 5.5 now. That's probably going to get over 6. Although USC is kind of a homer team, so we'll probably see some late money on that. It might get there, but that's that's kind of looking at 1.5, 2 points. Sometimes even a full field goal in college, which actually you're rarely ever going to see in the NFL, except for tonight's game. That's been kind of a strange one. I'm still expecting that late onslaught of Homer Philadelphia money, but it hasn't come yet. But we'll see.
Yeah, let's explain that to us, Phil, because when we talked on Sunday on Sportsnet 590, the Fan, that number was at 2.5 Eagles favorite. That's dropped an entire point, and you're expecting a bounce back? You're expecting to jump back to a 2? Where should we look? And if we're betting the Falcons, like this guy is right here, when should I make this bet for the Atlanta Falcons?
I'm not going to give away all my secrets, but that actually opened at 4 back in the spring. I mean, that's another thing. NFL week one lines come out usually late April, early May. So that book has been open for the better part of 5 months. So there's a ton of money in there right now. It came below the hook. I still kind of think that people are gonna jump on that Philadelphia. Could they win by a field goal? Should they win by a field goal? And it's interesting with Philadelphia because they're one of the homer teams in the NFL. I mean, of a handful. Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Philadelphia, the Giants, Patriots. Everybody's got a jersey. Everybody likes them. Everybody has an opinion on them. So they're not really looking at the best price. They're looking at the best number. It's, I think they're going to win. So that's kind of what I'm counting on right now. So I'm going to push Atlanta out and maybe take a bit of a gamble tonight and say that Philadelphia's going to win.
Some very interesting games for week number 1. I think that Houston Texan New England Patriots game, now it's still under a touchdown. Of course, there was, Houston lost late last year. Wasn't it another first game of the year where that was a lot tighter than people thought. So this is kind of a question mark for me. And 6.5 points, that's a relatively big number when you start talking about the NFL. Has that moved much since the number has come out?
It has not. Rock solid. That opened in the spring at 6.5, and it's still at 6.5. And sitting on some of the public money here on New England, but maybe not as much as we've seen in years past, as people kind of think they're starting to wane. So that game, it's going to stay under a touchdown. I don't see it getting to a touchdown by Chicago.
Where's your biggest number this week as far as movement is concerned out of all the games out there? I see that the Cardinals have gone from a pick'em to a -1. Is there any numbers that have moved significantly, or are we still kind of within that point and a half range?
The Steelers have opened at 6.5. That's down to 4 now on all that sharp Cleveland Brown money. It's just sharp money, isn't it, Dave? Right? Tampa Bay, New Orleans, that opened at the touchdown. That's up to 9.5, -115 on New Orleans. And everybody seems to be, there's a lot of excitement around New Orleans this year for whatever reason. But the season win totals, there's quite a lot of ability on that. That's going to move to a field goal. I would expect that may get on to 10 by game time. The Tennessee would open at -2.5. They're down to -1.5 right now on some serious home Miami money. That's another funny one. Yeah, and Washington, Arizona, for sure, that opened a pick, and there's absolutely no confidence in Washington in that game. It's pretty good liability in Arizona at -1.
Yeah.
Interesting, Dave. And you mentioned the Giants being a public team. For Eli Manning, I think there still is some gas that's left in the tank to say that he's not going to be a quarterback of substance. But I really think that the clock is on. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, Dave, don't you think the Jags? I think they're going to have a very good year. So I think that if that number stays the same, I would be tempted taking the 3 for the Jags on the road. That doesn't bother me.
It's interesting in those handful of homer teams that we like to call them. There's long-term loyalty to those teams, even when they lose. So people just kind of bet their team because they want to have a couple of bucks down and root for them during the game, and that adds up in sports books, and it certainly becomes a consideration when you're looking at the Steelers, Green Bay, Giants, Dallas. Even when Dallas was on a losing streak, you're still on a Sunday night game if Dallas is playing, even if they're 5-9 this season, your liability is still going to be on the Cowboys because people want to get down on them, they want to watch the game, have a couple of bucks in, and root for them. So it becomes on some of those games, almost the primary consideration on the liability.
So what's the number? What's the movement? What's the thing that gets Phil Gray looking at it saying, "Look, this is not a bad play on this particular game." It can be NFL, but it doesn't have to be NFL.
Generally, I look at the public money, and we're a public book, but sometimes you want to be on the other side of the public, but then it kind of goes in trends, and trends are real. I would disagree with that with a lot of other bookies who say they aren't. I tend to look at trends. So when we're on a public roll where we were a couple of years ago and we got absolutely smashed, then you know what, if the public's on and they've hit 3 or 4 weeks in a row, go with it. Whereas some of the conventional wisdom is say always bet against the public and come out in the end when you've got the plus money. But it's a feel thing, and the book it's kind of like its own entity sometimes. It moves and it twists around, and you kind of got to go with it and have a feel. And not gamble too much. We are bookmakers, so you look at the liability and you book towards that.
I'm still surprised that first Monday night game with the Jets is sitting at 6.5, considering this Jet team has a very good defense. Sam Darnold wins the starting position, and he has himself at least an average offense, and that's kind of a 6.5 point cushion if you take the Jets. That's one of my Monday night bets, Phil, and I hope you push that number to a 7, which will make it even more enticing for our bettors out there.
Or even 7.5 would be super fun.
Pretty split action right now, and again, that's one of the numbers that hasn't moved from the spring. It opened at 6.5, and it sat there. And isn't that interesting? Though we will see a lot of lion action, but when we go to our futures, there's no confidence in them to get over the season win total. There's no confidence in them in either the division or the championship as far as the money is right now.
Hey Phil, thanks for joining us. It's going to be a very busy weekend for sure. We'll catch up next week and find out who were the winners.
You bet, guys. Thanks a lot.
That is Phil Gray joining us here this morning. And once again, when you look at some of those numbers, and we'll get into some of them more detail, Dave's going to have his picks. We're also going to have Victor Newman's passionate picks just passionate picks. Maybe a little hate in there. There seems to be in the room today. I'll also talk about afterwards what is behind me. What is this unbelievable thing? People say, I want one. Well, we'll tell you how to get it. Just don't be fishing. Get me one. No, I'm not getting you one. You can have one, but I'm not getting you one. Let's make that clear.
You want to try that number again?
Well, hold on. Let me just.
I really want this.
Let me just tell you that you heard all the money that's coming from Sports Interaction.
Yep.
And I've told you how easy it is. And if you haven't seen this before, this is simply how easy it is to join Sports Interaction and take their money. They want to give you money. Help me help you. Here's Russell Graham. Russell Graham doesn't have a girlfriend.
But he can have a sportsinteraction.com account.
Right you are, Dave. Here's Russell going to the site. It's so simple, even Russell can do it. And he's mentally challenged.
But he will need some help.
Look at him filling it out. It's that easy and fun to do. But Russell's thinking to himself, how do I get that money? How do I get the up to $200? Here's how. You simply go to the drop-down menu. Look at Russell and the fun he's having. So what if his mother's knocking outside his door? This time it's not about magazines. It's this. He clicks on Raw Mike Richards, and any wager up to $200, Sports Interaction will match it. It's that simple. That money is yours from Sports Interaction and rawmike.richards.com. Look at that. Excellent acting. Tremendous voiceover on the fly. That's how you do it. And seriously, this is the start of the frenzy of gambling. This is the Mecca. This is the nirvana starting as it starts tonight as well. So why not join up? Why not sign up? It's so easy to do.
Falcons plus 1.5 points.
So the reason it's fudging around, we're just unsure of the quarterback situation in Philadelphia. This is the reason why it's dragging?
Know what? I think a little bit of both. We do know that Nick Foles will start tonight for the Eagles. He's had a really poor training camp. He's had a terrible preseason. There's always a letdown game for the championship team. We saw what the Patriots did last year where they hosted Kansas City. Come on in, and Kansas City beat the crap out of them. I'm not anticipating a beatdown by the Falcons, but the Falcons were the one that lost to the Eagles in the divisional round last year, and a lot of people, myself, thought the Falcons should have won that game. And if Matt Ryan makes that throw late in the game when they're within the 10-yard line of the Eagles' territory, it's a different result. 15-10 was the final. You might remember that. I remember it better than most. I think the Falcons win tonight. I think the Falcons are a pretty good play on the money line as well because you get even more value, 2 times your money, rather than I think it's a 175 right now, plus the 1.5 points, because you're not really, 1.5 points. Is it really going to be a 2-point game? I don't think so. So bet money line on the Falcons.
Okay. So also to start off your, maybe it's time for the kids to go to school.
Yes.
Maybe they're cool kids. Maybe they're bad kids. I like the bad kids. Behind me, for the first time ever, Raw Mike Richards' actual wear. Now, we've had Dick's wear.
Yes.
Which, courtesy of, I don't have it on today, but pretty much John Dix has made sure that I've had a shirt for every single day for the last year and a half.
He's awesome.
But our good friend Ted Nesbitt at Blade Tape.
Speaking of awesome, yes.
And so I'm just going to also call off screen here, as they say, or offset. So these will be available starting when? Couple of weeks. It will be available online, so you'll have both the T-shirt and the baseball sleeves. I love the baseball sleeves.
Best. It's like the classic rock concert T-shirt.
No tap out.
Nope.
No tank. No apologies. It's exactly how we've done this. And I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks we will prove that point with a major announcement. So I'm hoping for that. Yes.
Chris from the Tokes and a couple other guys should have it.
Oh, Chris from the Tokes for sure. Oh, well, out in Calgary, you're going to want to have these things. You're going to want these things. So we'll make it available. Our good friends what is the clothing company?
Code, K-O-D-E.
K-O-D-E Code has made this available. So we'll tell you how to do it. But this will be online, whatever size and as many as they want. Do we have a price on these things yet?
Not yet, but
Not yet.
the baseball sleeves aren't cheap, but they're the hottest.
This is the one-of-a-kind thing. So come on, what are you going to pick up
What
a
he's
price?
trying to say is
Yes.
affordable as hell.
Yeah, this will be good. But depending on the family.
Mm-hmm. They also make them in men's extra small, so Russell and company.
Yeah. That's look good in that. You know who'd look really good in that? Devin.
Devin would look
Devin
good.
would
Yes.
look awesome, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Boy, I sure miss Devin. We'll make sure everyone gets this. Our friends at Epilepsy Canada, Jay, we'll get Jay, Gary, our friends at DKI.
Yeah.
We'll get it going. So there you have it. For the first time ever, you got some Raw Mike Richards wear, swag, whatever you want to call it.
Russell was
Coming your
telling me that the only problem with Russell wearing it is that he apologizes quite a bit,
Yeah.
and
Well,
he always taps out. And he was part of Tank Nation just a couple of years ago because
I was gonna say-
Austin Matthews, oh please. Oh.
Boy, wouldn't I love to see the Montreal Canadiens to try to tank in front of that fan base. Oh, I'd love to see Jean-Paul and Claude and, Pierre going, are you kidding me? Colis, Tabernac, they're going to lose on purpose. Yep. And guess what? If you're in that position, you better.
Remember that dude that put on skates and tried scoring on Jose Theodore in that practice when they had it out in the suburbs? There's going to be a lot of that happening this year in Montreal with fans thinking, no, I'll play for you guys.
And again, Canadian teams. Ottawa, although it's going to do them no good. Like, really, to finish last does not help them.
No.
Vancouver on that list.
Exactly.
That's
you have to think
pathetic.
the Alberta teams will do better than they did last year. And I think Winnipeg is the best Canadian team right now. Toronto will have a nice year. And outside of that, you've basically rounded the bases of the 7 Canadian teams.
So we're going to get to our picks in just a moment. We'll get to Victor Newman picks as well. But I did want to play this. We played Nick Saban and the sort of outburst. Well, it was an outburst. And Maria Taylor, I believe, from ESPN she's very professional. She just moved on. Like, she didn't flinch. Credit to her for being on national television. It's a Bama game. It's the start of college season. Anyone who likes college football is watching. and she gets roasted by the coach. So now keep in mind, this is a couple of days ago. We weren't able to get it in. But I do want to get this in. Once again, property of ESPN, could be the SEC, and also some of these guys, in the internet, we have to find out who thinks they own stuff. And sometimes you look at it and think, well, it never said that these guys own, like, who is this? So this is something from, and this company's saying that they are called XOS Digital Sports. Okay, there you go, fellas. Apparently also property of XOS Digital Sports. What do you make of this? Is it an apology, and is it enough? And do you think it covers what was said last week when he went on the tirade?
I talked to Marie, and
Maria
could have handled it in a better way. But I do think that the statement that I made before about loving our players, and if I get asked to vilify a player and make another one a crown prince publicly, I might not respond to that, and I need to learn a better way to respond to that, and I will in the future. And I pray every Sunday that I never get angry. But it was a time and circumstance thing for me. I was a little upset by the way we finished the game, the penalties that we had, the mental errors that we had. So it was totally my responsibility, and we apologized for it.
That's an apology? Number one, it's Maria. Okay, but he goes back to his initial feelings and he uses the word vilify. That somehow, in that moment, in that interview, that she was asking him to sort of denigrate, to put one of the quarterbacks in a negative light. She never did that. Her question really was, so what did you get from tonight from both quarterbacks? That's a very fair question. That was a fair question. But he goes back to a point. Remember when Mike Gundy went off? I'm a man. I'm 40. But the reason for that, whether you liked it or not, in that particular case, I liked it. It's just one of the reporters was writing specifically about a quarterback and more than just football. That his mom would come into the practices or after and have sandwiches and give him his mom would bring him lunch, if you want to put it that way, in the parking lot of the stadium. Like all these things that really had nothing to do with football, but was sort of taking this angle on what this reporter felt were the problems that the quarterback was having, and he said enough is enough. The things that were said in that, he took issue with it, pointed the reporter out. Said, why don't you come after me? I'm a man. I'm 40. I still like that. As much as some people might have thought I was over the top, I'm from a family of coaches. Trust me, my dad's not like that. I'm like that. What you saw at the beginning of the show,
that's you.
That's me at football practice when one guy fools around too much, when one guy takes his helmet off, or there's a tickle fight, or someone's got a phone they're not supposed to. That is Coach Richards. That's what you saw. And everyone is running. Trust me, a long time. That practice become as less fun. And some guys don't like the practice, some guys do, but that would not be a fun practice. But I look at that, and I think to myself, he's reading out that story. That's not an apology.
No. And see, the other thing, too, is to the defense of Nick Saban, he's only 66 years old. He hasn't been in the sport for that long, and he doesn't have a lot of experience at the college and pro level in the United States. So it's a learning curve for him as well. And I'm sure that, once he gets to an older age where he's been around the game a little longer.
More mature, more seasoned.
Yeah, he'll handle that sort of situation that he's never been under, because he's never been part of like a program that's been number one for like 25 years or anything like that. And
a program that's been known to be, maybe he doesn't know about the Bear. Maybe
I mean, rarely on national television, not really used to reporters coming onto the field and talking to him after a game or anything like that. So he's up on Saban a little bit.
Good points, Dave.
Thanks, bud.
Really? Wow.
What a joke, eh? Worst NFL coach ever.
Well, I pray every Sunday that I won't get angry. What does that mean? Is that you're bringing God into it now? Like, see, that's what makes me feel uncomfortable. And then at the very end, we apologize. Who's the we?
Yeah.
Was an assistant coach behind him going,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't ask those questions. You're an idiot.
yeah, you're an idiot. No, as far as I know, it was just. But I said for Maria Taylor, that was wow. She was awesome. Like she was very, very good.
Bing, bing.
Now look, are there other moments where I've seen coaches take issue in the moment? Yeah, there have been, and I just think that I get that he didn't like the special teams play at the end of the game. They blew out Louisville by 30, 40 points. It's not like you just lost by one. So your upset isn't everyone else's upset, and I just thought that was a real lack of leadership. If I'm looking at it, I'm going to send my son there. My son's highly recruited guy. I'm like, I didn't like what you said, and guess what? Sometimes when you're sitting down in the home, those parents' home, and they're sitting there, parents will say that. Like if your kid's that good, and it's either there or LSU or wherever maybe it's USC, who knows? It won't in the long run. People won't even remember this. This will be a nothing story. I'm not trying to build it up that this is a career ender. It just simply is not. This will be forgotten about. But it's just a shame that it came to that, and I just don't like how it was handled, and I don't think the apology was sincere. You're watching rawmikeRichards.com either on the website or the dedicated YouTube channel. We appreciate that. Subscribe as much as you can. We love to see it, and it also makes an easier way when you subscribe to both. You just saw the shirt behind us that was unveiled today for the fall. When we have contests and giveaways, we need that information. This makes it so much easier for you to actually attain stuff like this, and if we were to have a giveaway. So make sure that you do. It's really important. So why don't we start with, now if we start getting to some of the games. What is that? Was that mine?
Yep.
Oh, the parking's going to run out now. Oh, watch that. Maybe
that'd be a fun conversation.
Is Victor's?
Do you want to go, Victor? I'm ready. If you're not ready,
well,
whatever
I think
works.
Well, as long as do you see his limo coming?
Let me just take a quick look. Yep. Let's fire up the band. Let's do it. Victor Newman making his way through the studio and pushing aside a couple autograph seekers. Ted Nesbitt. Victor is now in studio. Victor, welcome to the show. This is week number 1 of the NFL season, and we look forward to your passionate picks.
Like I said, Ted, I do not like being touched by you, all right? The hell's the matter with you? Shut the hell up. I'm sorry, Dave. That Ted Nesbitt's a little grabby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take it easy, Weinstein. All right, let's get to the damn picks. The first time in the season I've had a chance to do it, and I'm going to tell you something. These are goddamn winners. All of them. Let's start with TCU at SMU. It's minus 22.5. TCU on the road. Guess what they're called?
I have no idea.
The Horned Frogs.
No, the
Yes.
Horned Frogs, yes.
That was my nickname when I was 7.
You bet.
Minus 22.5 is no problem. SMU going to have a tough year, especially against TCU. So take them on the road. Northwestern minus 2.5 at home to Duke. You know something? I can't stand Duke. I think I might buy that university next year. Fill it full of dummies. Russell, what are you doing next year? Do you see what I did? It's a damn good joke right there. Minus 2.5. Take that to the bank. That might be my luck of the goddamn week. Minus 2.5 at home. University of Cincinnati goes to Miami of Ohio. Let me tell you something. If you saw Cincinnati at UCLA last week, I did with my son Christian. He attended UCLA. He's a goddamn filmmaker. He's a good one, too. Take +1, Cincinnati, the Bearcats on the road.
You remembered his name. That's good.
Absolutely. You shut the hell up, David. Let's get to the NFL. The Minnesota Vikings are going to be a damn good team this year. I know Jimmy Garoppolo's dating porn stars. Put the dildo down and promise to play a better football game, but I'll tell you what, it's not going to mean a damn thing. Because the Vikings at minus 6.5 under touchdown, I'm going to be taking them. Actually, Nikki and I will be at that game.
Really? Still with her, eh?
None of your damn business. Let's go to the Baltimore Ravens. Minus 7.5 is a shitty number, but I'll tell you something right now. The team they're playing is even shittier. Peterman. More like, forget it. Minus 7.5, Ravens. And finally, the Carolina Panthers, minus 3 at home to the Dallas Cowboys. I know people are huge on Dallas, but trust me. See, there's the first touchdown right there. And you know I'm a fan of the Carolina Panthers. I go there quite often. I even dab like this. Look at Victor Newman dabbing. That's what I do.
That's good.
That's 47.48 times your money in those 6 games. That's 50 times your money. Trust me. Rob a bank, steal from your mother, or pretend you're Canada Revenue and get some money and make that bet. Back to you, David. You're looking damn good, you know that.
Thanks. I get it from somebody.
Say hi to your mother for me.
That's Victor Newman and his passionate picks for week number 1 of the NFL season.
Yeah.
Good to have him back.
It was good to have him back. Also, I noticed too that he didn't throw in any soccer.
No.
I think Victor Newman was very upset about the soccer last week, so he didn't put any soccer games in. 6 games though, pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good, and I like his reasoning. Now, are we going to get to yours?
Yeah, nothing too fancy. No makeup or anything like this, or no rock concert likeness. But I got 5 games for you. First,
we don't have the yours were the the foreplay.
Yeah, Paul Stanley will be back next week.
But no, the four. You just had the.
Yeah, we have 4play, but today's 5 because I've added the Thursday night game to the mix. So
okay, well I thought maybe there's usually let's see.
Well, we're not allowed to play Kiss songs either, right? So that's what.
No, but I'm saying just your foreplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking for the intro.
That was just you had an intro for that.
Don't worry about it.
Remember Barry White came on.
That's true.
And it was all awesome.
Mike Luck, yeah, Mike Luck.
Mike Luck was
there.
Mike Luck was doing that.
Yeah.
Here's a cop. Don't try me today, pal. Hey, pal.
I was gonna say. Keep on moving.
You pull over. Yeah, you pull over.
You tell him.
The All Thug Show. Okay, let's put some. Is this sexy music? Let's see. Come on. Let's see if this is sexy music. How is that sexy?
Well, it sounds sexy.
Here's one called "Sexy Bitch." You ready for this?
Oof! It describes Russell.
There we go. Okay, so there's an intro to it. Boy, I'll tell you, today's a beauty. Now they're counting it down. Yeah, we don't need that. Here we go. What is this? I'm going to snap again.
I think it sounds
okay
to me.
What's going on today? Seriously. Are we working at TSN 1050? Oh, we have it? Okay, let's try
do this.
Try it. It's Friday, and you know what that means. Thursday. A little full play. There should be pictures. With Dave Bastel. Whatever. He going to give you some foreplay you won't forget. Okay, so you can put it on him. Brought to you by Sports Interaction Canada's online sports book. Give it something to me, big sexy.
There we go.
That's what it was.
Thank you so much, Mike Luck. Let's go to the Thursday game. I've been harping on this for a while. Our numbers right now are Falcons, and you're accepting the 1.5, so accept it on Thursday night. I like the Falcons to beat the Eagles in the Battle of the Birds. I got 3 Sunday games and 1 Monday night game. Let's go to the Sunday gimmies right now. Cardinals -1 is really easy money. Evaluating this game, the Cardinals look really, really good. David Johnson is back in the lineup after a season where he missed all of it. They have a brand new quarterback that still might be an improvement over Carson Palmer. Larry Fitzgerald doesn't age. He's like wine. I like the Cardinals to win at home. You only have to give away the 1 point. I like the Titans to go to Miami to beat the Dolphins because the Dolphins are a last place team. You only have to give up a 1.5. I think that's easy pickings for a Tennessee Titan team that could compete for a wild card spot. And here's my upset special of the Sunday. I like the Texans to go to Foxborough and cover the 6.5 points. Everybody is healthy on defense, including J.J. Watt. Everybody on offense, including Deshaun Watson, healthy. I think they could keep it close, and there's no factor of weather. It's always nice playing in Foxborough in September and not the middle of December. Take the Texans plus the 6.5 points.
I like it.
On Monday night, I like the same thing for the New York Jets. I think they go to Detroit, and I think they could win this game outright, but protect yourself. Take the 6.5 points and the New York Jets in Sam Darnold's prime time first ever game as an NFL quarterback. This is the start of something big for the New York Jets, and it's a nice way of starting against the Detroit club that will struggle to get to 500. 6.5 points is no respect for the Jets. Take the 6.5 and bet the New York Jets on Monday night.
Yeah. That's how you do it. What? I like those picks, Davey. I like the 6.5s.
Become best friends. Yep.
The big numbers.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Monday night. I'll be a lot of Monday nighters. I don't have my attention. This one
This
does.
one does, yes.
Well, this has been an interesting show. Technically, probably the worst show we've ever done. What have we learned from this, though? What do we take away from this? Well, we're going to get those tax people, though.
Well,
the fake tax people.
We haven't forgot that
No,
number.
we're going to try that again.
By the way, Clark Judge joins us on Monday. It's confirmed to recap week number 1. So Clark in on Monday.
Awesome. You see behind me. Yeah, just go right behind me. Behind me, the shirt there. There we
Hey,
go. Coming
hey.
soon. Coming soon, baby. That's right. It's coming to you, baby. It's going to be beautiful. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you back on Monday. That's right. We're not on tomorrow.